You have to be your authentic self. You have to, if you can, write and speak on video in the same way that you would speak to somebody, because you want to give them an insight into what it's like to be dealing with you.
Welcome back again. John Smybert here with Adam Gray. Welcome back, Adam.
Hi John, nice to see you again.
Hey Adam, we've had a couple of good discussions on social, and Adam is a world leader in the world of social, particularly in the area of sales and marketing. So I wanted to get down to some of the things, behaviour, if you like, in social. A lot of subjects, when you talk about teenagers using Facebook, there's a lot of behavioural issues. But I think there's a lot of behavioural issues on LinkedIn too. How do we behave, and what's our tone of voice?
Well, it's interesting that you should ask that, because I think that it's a platform through which you can exhibit who you are. People want to feel that you're their friend, they want to feel that you're engaging, they want to feel that you're approachable. And often what we see is people who, by virtue of the fact they're writing in the third person, for example, you know, they think it makes them sound professional, it makes them sound pompous, and actually,
John Smybert is a world leader and blah blah.
Absolutely, there's nothing worse than reading that. And I think that the other thing that we often make mistakes in is that we think that the people that we're talking to have the same degree of interest and longevity in the articles that we're giving them as we do when it's our pet subject. So often people, I've got 10 things I must say to you for you to make this sale, so I'm going to do a 10-thing article. And we all know that if we go to a one-day seminar or a one-hour seminar, we pick up one or two things from it. So let's write, if you've got 10 things to say, let's write 10 short articles rather than one long article, because it makes the things more accessible. And you know as well as I do, if I send you something which is 3,500 words, you store it and you go, I'll read that when I've got time.
One day.
Yeah, and one day never comes, does it? It never comes.
I have so many videos I put away to watch at a later date, and
absolutely
never get
so the bit that says this is a 2-minute read, that's the one that you're going to read now. And if it's pertinent and it's valuable, you'll remember it.
That's why I try and keep these videos or these interviews to 5 minutes. Get a meaty chunk of information out there. So you're saying that's the right approach?
Absolutely right. I think that an interesting analogy is that when you go to YouTube to watch something, you've got a choice of pretty much everything that's ever been recorded in the history of the world. And you choose that one particular song by Eric Clapton and you press play on it, and then you get 2 minutes into it and you're searching for something else. So you've got a choice of everything that there has ever been, and you can't be bothered to listen to the whole of one thing. So people have a very short attention span now because they're time poor and they have wandering thoughts, and we need to make sure that we're keying into that behaviour. It doesn't make it the right behaviour, but it makes it the behaviour that people have today.
And if they engage, they're likely to delve further into a subject that they're really interested in.
Yeah.
So our subject's interest, they'll drill down to the next one, the next one, the next.
And let's remember that we're trying to build a habitual change in these people. So if you're going to sit and watch a 1-hour video of mine, that's not as engaging as if you watch 12 5-minute videos of mine, because you've got to press the button 12 times to play those 12 videos.
I can't imagine people wanting to watch the two of these bald-headed gentlemen talking for more than 5 minutes, right? But look, tone of voice you mentioned. Tone of voice, to me, is very important on social. What do you mean by tone of voice?
Well, I think that you have to be, again, we use the word authentic. You have to be your authentic self. You have to, if you can, write and speak on video in the same way that you would speak to somebody, because you want to give them an insight into what it's like to be dealing with you.
Yes.
You know, if you seem like a friendly, approachable, knowledgeable, engaging kind of individual, that's so much more attractive for me to have a deal with than somebody that is boring and dull and
or overpowering. There's nothing more unattractive than somebody I'm the expert, here's my expertise, everybody listen, rather than saying, oh, that's an interesting point. You know, I've got this thought, what do you think about that? And having a good tone of voice type dialogue.
Yeah, and that dialogue is what you're trying to build in the virtual world, in order that people get an insight of what it's going to be like when they meet face to face.
I think that's great. The other thing is, I run a group called the Strategic Selling Group, and it's great to see good dialogues happening. But every now and again, somebody writes a whole article in a comment, and I know they stop you, and then they do, so many words you can put into a comment, but then they to the next comment, I think, whoa, hang on, you're not going to get everybody reading that. Just make the key point.
Absolutely.
And encourage dialogue on it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Okay, and from behaviour point of view, any particular behaviours that we've got to be careful about?
I think you mentioned about being overpowering. I think that the art is to lead people by the hand rather than shove them. So if I can give you a little bit of information which makes you hungry, I give you a little bit more, a little bit more, and a little bit more. I'm building trust. I'm building an engaging behaviour between the two of us. Whereas if I say, these are the facts, this is what you need to do,
and what you're saying is rubbish.
They
just turn off.
And we all, to a greater or lesser extent, have our own way of projecting that view if we're not careful.
All right, so that's a good, interesting discussion. I think from a tone of voice, dialogue point of view, you're absolutely right. We need to consider that we're actually, there might be 1,000 or 100 people on the other end of this dialogue going on. We need to treat them all with respect. It's like you're meeting somebody and having a dialogue like the two of us right now. And by the way, Alec and I only just met 24 hours ago anyway, and I'm loving spending time with you.
Great.
Because your tone of voice and your behaviour encourages me to dialogue.
Absolutely. Thank you very much,
Alec. Adam, I think that's good value. Send me a note right down below, and I'll get Adam to give us some feedback on that.
Thank you.